Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Tuesday, September 16th, 2025 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I find my center and honor who I am, body, mind, spirit, soul, and heart. Here I am. Hey, the internet still works. We'll see if it stays, what happens this week. But today's a really big astro day, and I'm glad that I'm talking about it and not writing about it because there is so much going on. We actually have two yads happening. So we have the Saturn yad that I mentioned ongoing. It's going to be ongoing this week as Venus and Mars, their degrees creep closer to the degree that Saturn is sitting at, 28. So today we have Venus and Mars at 26, so like I said, getting closer, and Lilith feeding in at 26, hanging out with Mars as well. So we have that yad. We also have a yad that's pointing at Chiron, and this one has an asteroid in it, but we have Mercury in Virgo, and then Juno in Scorpio feeding into this yad. We also have multiple other connections with Chiron today. So a lot of Saturn energy, a lot of Chiron energy. This is karmic, and there is healing for us as we face these energies. Now, Juno is not necessarily a asteroid that I talk about very much. Juno is the partner of Jupiter. Juno can represent marriage and partnership. And it's interesting that this is feeding in because it might be bringing to life that energy a little bit. So we're going to dig into that after we look at these transits because whew, it's a lot. I do want to mention that the feels are here. The feels are ongoing as we have the moon in Cancer. And today we do have the moon in Cancer connecting to Jupiter. That's fairly early in the day. But again, you may feel like a big wave of emotional energy in the morning, in your sleep. Have you ever woken up crying and you're like, whoa, I was like bawling and now I'm like, I have no clue why. You might have some of that come through. This is beautiful. Let these emotions, allow these emotions to come and move through. Our first connection of the day, again, happens while a good portion of us watching this are sleeping. We're going to have that Mercury Chiron in conjunction. That's happening at 12:50 a.m. Pacific time. So again, this might be something that's worked through in your sleep. Now it's interesting because Mercury in Virgo might have some really good ideas of what you need to heal. Virgo is a wonderful sign to lean into for healing. And yet in this inconjunct, Chiron and Aries might not be too sure that what Mercury in Virgo has planned is the way it's meant to be. And I think with this strong yad to Chiron in Aries, it's recognizing that healing happens and that healing doesn't always look the way we think that it should. And I think a big portion of Chiron and Aries healing energy is finding our authenticity. And I will tell you that aligning and allowing your authenticity may actually feel very bad to Virgo, who can be a bit of a perfectionist, because sometimes your healing looks like throwing yourself on the floor and having a temper tantrum. Sometimes that energy needs to come out. And so here we have this inconjunct. Now, it's not to say that the ideas that Virgo has, Mercury and Virgo has, isn't actually going to bring you healing. It might be a case of both. A lot of times, times more than one thing can be true at once, right? Like that throwing the temper tantrum can be healing, and then this civilized Virgo healing of getting a clearing or, getting a massage or something like that can also be healing. So just keep that in mind in this energy. Now, I mentioned that Juno piece in this yad that we have going on with Chiron. And it's really interesting because Scorpio can represent boundaries. And so this might be a place where part of our healing is also upholding boundaries in our partnerships. Now, this could be romantic, but this could also be outside partnerships, relationships, connections as well. While Juno is, you know, represents marriage a lot of times, I do think that this has layers. And maybe this is because we do have Mars and Lilith hanging out in Libra opposing this. But for those of you who are partnered, you might need to look at the fear that you have around being yourself, that your partner who's there, or the partner who is to come, would not like you if you're being yourself. And the opposite is true. Your partner, your true soul marriage partner, will love all the parts of you. And so this might be a piece, maybe for some of us, not all of us, that needs to be looked at in this energy. So awareness of that. And that also connects with the Venus Chiron energy. And Venus in Leo is like, yes, roar, be who you are, show up, bring your ugly, bring your divine. It's all worthy of love. And I think that those who love us really can hold space for all the parts, all the pieces. So there we have that. Like I said, Mars also connecting to Chiron in an opposition, and Mars is conjunct Lilith. And so that's helping us with this. There may be some parts of yourself that want to come forward that feel a little even outrageous in this energy, and that might be part of your Lilith energy coming online. I am somebody who does have Lilith in the sign of Libra, and I think sometimes it's been hard to push myself out of the pleasant, nice boundaries that Libra energy can bring. I have a lot of Libra in my chart. So this might be a potential breakthrough for those energies as Mars and Lilith connect, but also Mars and Lilith oppose Chiron in Aries, again helping us heal and allow more of ourselves, our personal selves, to come forward in this. So that is a lot. That is a lot going on, and that's just the morning. We then have the Sun and Moon connect. We have the Moon and Mars in a square. When I mentioned temper tantrums, a lot of times it can be those Moon, Mars. Mars and Libra may not want to do it, but Lilith may have something to say about it. And the Moon in Cancer may have some big feels about it. So that's happening finally in the afternoon. The Moon and Mercury are connecting. Mercury is in Virgo, Moon in Cancer. Again, today has so much healing potential, but part of the healing is the feeling. And I know there are some big feels, and I encourage you that it's not so much about posting on social media what you're feeling as really allowing it to move through your body. Feel it in your body, your soul, your heart, your spirit. Move these energies through. Then if you feel like speaking up, speak your piece, right? But so often we try to get it out there, and it causes more issues because it's coming from an unhealed place, which, to be fair, we all have these unhealed places. I'm not saying that that's bad, but work it through yourself first, because you may find, a lot of times I find once I work something through myself, that what I was thinking about it is actually is no longer what I'm thinking, and it's completely actually shifted. So there's that. There's some prudence to that, and Moon and Saturn agree that can be helpful. Moon in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces. Again, we're feeling big things, and part of the bigness is that we're feeling about everything is because many of us have been through these things before in other lifetimes. This is not our first rodeo, and this is not the first time of dealing with super crazy societal energies. The moon's going to move into Leo late in the evening, and hopefully that's going to bring us back into our hearts, back into heart feels energy. But I will say that's going to add a little fire and zest to this week. It also takes us closer to the dark of the moon. We're building to the eclipse on Sunday, so we'll see how that goes, right? Hopefully it goes into our heart, but it can also fire up the egos. So top of my cards is the healing card, but this is also the King of Cups. And so like I said, there is healing afoot, but part of the healing is the allowing of the feeling. And speaking of that, we have the Seven of Cups, and this reminds us not everything that we think and even not everything that we feel is completely accurate. Sometimes it's projection, sometimes it's illusion. This is a card definitely of illusion. It's also a card that reminds us that our energetic fields pick up these things projected. There is a lot of fear, hopelessness, anger, hate, all of that being projected out there. And sometimes you need to clear that off, again, to get clear-minded about who you are beyond the projections. This can also be projections that you've been caring about who you are that also need to be dusted off so that you can embrace your truest self. Through this, we have the adventure card, and I always say this is my shadow work card, that you're moving into the light. There's a big color spectrum there, but there's some shadow that needs to be looked at, and all of us carry shadow energies that need to be looked at, and part of the shadow is the fear of being who you are. And it's not like society is making it very nice right now, right? So there's that. We've got creativity, the Empress, as well as flowering. Both of these queenly energies helping to support us, helping to nurture us through this energy. The Empress, or flowering, not the Empress, the flowering card in particular always is a reminder, like, ground. Get grounded and centered in yourself. And again, with all these astro energies, you might be a little like this through the day. So be good to yourself. I pulled Horsetail. And it says patience. Of course it says patience. I wanted to read a little bit about it being ruled by Saturn. And Horsetail can help strengthen the skeletal system and connective tissues, promotes wound healing, hair growth, skin protection, bone strength. And Saturn also corresponds with the processing of minerals within the body, particularly through the kidneys, which Horsetail also nourishes. So Saturn can help provide us protection, shielding, courage, endurance, patience, self-control, and the blessing of challenge. Saturn, known as Cronus in Greek, is the lord of time and viewed as destructive, all-devouring force. Kronos ate his children. Yet Saturn isn't as malevolent as is portrayed to be, as its energy teaches us self-mastery, the power we are granted once we overcome the cycles of pain and suffering. And part of that self-mastery is taking back our personal authority and working with the energy of responsibility. I mean, in any situation, you get to respond in a way that's true to you. So let me read the guidance part. Horsetail teaches us the power that lies within patience and the endurance gained through the hidden blessings of challenge. There is something good in all seeming failures, and although that might not be clear in the moment, time will reveal it. Trust the process. Remember that stubbornness and willfulness are counterproductive to loosening knots. Instead, like the medicine of Horse, ground into Earth's energy as you survive and adapt to the changes and hardships on the journey. Horse medicine provides heightened sensitivity and purity of trust as essential tools to have while we endure challenge and hardship. Wow, that card's on point. So reach out to your horsey friends. I think Sagittariuses are included in that. You can book a reading if you would like some human horsiness. As a Sagittarius, I bring the centaur vibe. I'm also offering clearings, and those have been seemingly very supportive and helpful to people. So reach out if you would like that or have questions about that. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and may your guiding light be strong. And know that you can trust the process. Namaste.